I recently finished The Bluest by Toni Morrison, and I wanted to talk about it. Now, I just want to issue a fair trigger warning. This book heavily touches on racism and CSA, so definitely be mindful of those triggers. I'm not going to go in depth, but I just want to put that out there before I begin this review. Pecola Breedlove is ridiculed by her peers for her black features. The book opens by describing how there were no marigolds in the year of 1941. The narrator says how they thought it was because Pecola was having her father's baby. Quote, "There is really nothing more to say except why. But since why is difficult to handle, one must take refuge in how." Now, this book is divided by seasons, and we open on autumn. There are two sisters, Claudia and Frida, who are 9 and 10 years old. It is in Claudia's perspective, but it is from a point in the future because we are given insight into these past events. Pecola is assigned to stay at their house for a few days because she is separated from her family. Claudia is gifted a white, blonde-haired and blue-eyed doll for Christmas. She destroys it, and her actions are viewed as ingratitude by others. It sets the tone for the story and shows how these young girls feel shame for their black features. Now, this book has such evocative prose and descriptions. The figurative language is one of a kind, and Morrison does not rely on it to carry her narrative, but utilizes it to enhance it and to bring it to life. We learn what goes on behind closed doors in Pecola's home. Her home life is tumultuous. Her mother and father, Pauline and Charlie, constantly fight. Her older brother, Sammy, who is 14, copes with their violence by fleeing until he inevitably has to return home. Now, the way this story is formatted is very interesting. The opening section, if you do not read it, it's only about, I don't have the book on me, but it's only about a few pages. You would have a completely different reading experience if you do not read that section because it reveals part of the story's outcome, but not all of it. I couldn't help but draw parallels between Beloved and The Bluest Eye, and another significant one was how The Bluest Eye showcases a complicated portrait of motherhood. We are given a glimpse into Pauline Breedlove's origin with Charlie. Toni Morrison does not hold back when it comes to the profusely painful history of Black Americans. Pauline recounts the birth of Pecola. She details how the doctors claim that Black women felt no pain compared to white women when giving birth. This is another startling example of historically accurate racism portrayed in this book. The Bluest Eye is a moving story about the cycle of violence, generational trauma, and familial trauma. This book sort of has two endings. It has the penultimate ending, and then it has the actual ending. First one ends on a lighter note, almost with a hint of optimism, while the last ending, arguably the true ending, is one void of hope, and it leaves you feeling uncomfortable and hollow. This was the second Toni Morrison book I have read. The first one I read was Beloved. I would love to know your thoughts on this book. I feel like every Toni Morrison book, it really brings up a challenge talking about it, but I think it's beyond necessary to talk about these books, to read them, especially in this political climate. As always, thank you for listening.